If he continues to be good, not great, and the 49ers make some run this postseason, do you see any way in which the 49ers retain the services of Jimmy Garoppolo going into 2022?
He'd have to win the Super Bowl, I think. I think he'd have to win the Super Bowl. But I don't know. He's making it real interesting. I think what's cool about this is like the Niners have a plan, clearly. It's sit Trey for a year and then trade Jimmy and start Trey.
Right.
That's the plan. And Jimmy's doing his best to like put a monkey wrench in the plan.
Yeah.
And he'd probably have to shoot the moon and win the Super Bowl. But what he has going for him is the locker room is on his side. Now I'm sure they like Trey too, but they're brothers with Jimmy, right? Like they've been there 5 years with him
in the trenches.
So as long as he keeps having the locker room on his side, and he has their support, they don't blame him for if they eventually lose. It's going to be tougher than the Niners want to move on. That's the thing. Like if they lose this game, it'll be real easy to make the transition. But if they go to the NFC Championship game and score 35 points and lose because of their defense, it'll be tough. It'll be very tough because the locker room loves him.
I agree that the only way he ends up staying is the Super Bowl victory. I think it will be interesting to see how it plays out, what role he plays in any wins or losses coming up. I know a lot of people vacillated wildly based off of the result of the Rams game, talking about how that saved Jimmy's trade value. Just a quick aside, it's my opinion that most NFL scouts and talent evaluators wouldn't have quite the same swing that the fan base did, right? If one game changes your opinion of a player, unless it's his coming out game, if one game changes your opinion of a player, you're not really a great talent evaluator, right? I mean,
that's the way I look at these last two Jimmy starts. Like when you take the emotion out of it and look at the numbers, it was the same performance. Like he literally
similar guy.
He had the same QBR in both games. In Tennessee, 46.1. In LA, 46.1. I remember checking it after the Tennessee game. Like, I want to see what his QBR was. It must have been like 0, right? And it was like 46. That was way higher than I expected it. And if you go back, like he really did do a lot of nice things. He completed 75% of his passes. He led that touchdown drive when they needed it at the end of regulation, and they ultimately lost because the defense couldn't stop Tennessee from getting a field goal at the end the way they stopped the Rams and forced overtime. Like, Jimmy could have been the hero in Tennessee had the defense forced overtime, but really like 2 picks, a third potential turnover that wasn't a turnover, and a missed deep throw. Like it was the same freaking performance. And after Tennessee, Niner fans are like, okay, I'm finally done with Jimmy. I hate this. after Inglewood, they're like, he's just totally redeemed himself.
He's a hero.
Maybe we should extend his contract. Like he literally just did the same thing back-to-back weeks, and the team had a different result. So that's very interesting to me.
Very fascinating. Yeah. It will be, I mean, what a great storyline to have followed this entire year. What a great storyline to continue to follow into the offseason. Melody Moonfire coming in here. Happy birthday, Grant. My birthday is tomorrow.
Happy birthday. What a
another
name.
Close one. We'll celebrate tonight and all weekend. Love your show, and your personality is nuanced and unique.
Thank you. Thank you. She
love
likes
it. Love it.
That was real nice.
All right, coming in here from Jeffrey.
You know
how much does misdirection play a part of our plans? Cowboys react fast off the snap. Grant becomes more of a fan the further we get into the playoffs.
Misdirection is always good. It's what the Niners, pretty much their offense is based on, pre-snap motion. And it seems like Debo has now reached Tyreek Hill levels where you just put him in motion before the snap and defenses freak the hell out. Like there was that touchdown pass to Juwan Jennings at the end of the game. Debo Samuel just goes in motion to the left, and 2 guys are just drawn to him like a magnet, and no one covers Juwan Jennings, who catches it. So I would think they should probably keep doing that for sure. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I absolutely look forward to seeing a lot of motion using Debo Samuel as a decoy many times, because you watch the defenses just tail him the same way that they used to tail Juice when he was the more obvious tell of a direction the run game was going. But it doesn't seem to help. The Niners are still able to get those yards. Dr. J, one of our sneakerheads, coming in. Don't forget the salary. Don't stay with Jimmy time to say goodbye after the season. Maybe the last year to get a trade value for him. If you had to put a value on it, I have speculated myself that I would put it at a second and a fourth for Jimmy in the offseason. If you had to put your own value at trade value for Jimmy, where would you throw that?
A fifth.
A fifth. Ooh, shots fired.
It's not Jimmy. It's his contract. I don't see how anyone wants that contract. Now, maybe people like someone smarter than me can figure out how teams can maneuver it, but I feel like you're either paying him $27 million for 1 year or $27 million spaced out over a couple of years. And either way, who's dying to spend $27 million on Jimmy Garoppolo when I think you could get similar quarterback play for way cheaper than that? But you know what? It just takes one team. I don't see it, man. I don't believe it. I don't see this market.
Yeah, I definitely see it as a wink, wink, nudge, nudge contract extension agreed to with the agent prior to a trade. Because I agree, nobody wants to pay that $27 million for 1 year's service.
And a contract extension. So what does that make him? Does that make him your franchise quarterback, or is he like a long-term bridge? Like,
I think you got to go 3 years and hope that he can step it up.
Oh, I pity the fan base that has that. Oh man. Hey, it's not the Niners' problem.
No, somebody else's issue, thankfully.
I mean, I guess the Chiefs were happy with Alex Smith those years in the Niners. So maybe some teams really going to like Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, and Washington was happy after, you never know.
Would see Jimmy Garoppolo as a step up. Washington?
It's tough. Joe Stoll coming in, one of our sneakerheads. The Titans game was 3 weeks ago. Are we due for bad Jimmy?
Dude, what did we just see in LA? I'm sorry. What did we just see? Like, he does he has a bad game, and then he just has a monster last drive. He's done it a lot of times this year. Yeah. That's Jimmy. I don't understand.
I think that's the key, is that good and bad Jimmy are always present. It's not that it's one game or the next. It is every game between plays you see the fluctuation.
Even Stevens, he evens out.
Yep.
He evens out.
DeLondis Green, ESPN made a list of quarterbacks in the playoffs from top to worst. I'm curious, what would be your guys' last tier? That's tough to do without the playoff picture in front of you. But, I mean, I put Jimmy, specifically talking about the Niners, in that 15 to 20 range as far as quarterbacks within the league in its totality. And so, judging by who else is in the playoffs off the top of my head.
Hold on, I'll do it right now. Here we go. We got Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Mac Jones, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford. All right. Patrick Mahomes, Ben Roethlisberger, Jimmy Garoppolo, Dak Prescott. Those are your and Aaron Rodgers and freaking who's the other team? Oh, Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. I would have to put Ben Roethlisberger at the last spot.
Okay. Let's do the bottom tier. Roethlisberger is in there.
Yeah. Big Ben probably should have retired last year, but didn't. And now you're seeing the end result. I would put him last, but then right above that would be Jimmy in that grouping for me.
Yeah. Jimmy, Derek Carr, Mac Jones, and Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I mean, I like Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, kind of all in the same boat to me. I mean, I would put Burrow a little bit ahead of them, I think.
And if you're building a franchise, you're taking Mac Jones or Jalen Hurts, because either one of those could have vast improvement as a quarterback. But Jimmy, I mean, you're pretty much looking at where Jimmy is, unless there's some change in his life that alters the course of his.
Yeah, we agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Amen. All right, moving.
And Barry Baller has it too. We agree on that. Yep.
Nice. Leo, another sneakerhead of the channel, at Rob Grant. Can y'all speak to how Jimmy G trade value is factored by how professionally well he has handled the quarterback controversy issue this year? Happy birthday, Grant. I would say my answer to that would be that a team that's looking for a bridge quarterback would be happy to have him in there because of that aspect to his game. But then a bridge quarterback, he's a very expensive bridge quarterback. So I don't know if those two things align.
I mean, the way he set up the question, it's almost like we learned something new about Jimmy. I mean, he was in a very difficult situation, but this is who Jimmy is. He's always super professional and classy, and essentially, except for when he doesn't take responsibility for his mistakes after games. He does it with a smile. No, this is Jimmy. I mean, if you like Jimmy, then this is just like, this is just another example of him being the same in tough situations. So, I mean, if there's a Jimmy Garoppolo fan out there, they're looking at this season being like, see, this is more example of what we like about him.
Right. It underscores what you already knew.
I keep going back to Houston because that organization is basically New England Southwest. And a lot of the people in Houston were in New England when they drafted Jimmy. And
Right.
I don't know how they feel about Davis Mills. I mean, they just drafted Davis Mills in the 3rd round. It's possible they look at him as like, a guy,
Right.
CJ Beathard. Like, he's never supposed to be the franchise quarterback. Maybe they feel, let's have him and Jimmy Garoppolo. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston is a team that could look at Jimmy as an upgrade, because
That's a very interesting situation to monitor. I've still got Pittsburgh top of my list.
Clean too, as opposed to what they got going on over there right now.
Melody Moonfire coming in. Does Kyle's reluctance to run a 2-quarterback system reflect his work ethic, or do you think Jimmy got upset when Trey had touchdowns in the beginning of the season? Do you believe Kyle when he says it was his play calling?
No, I don't believe it was Kyle. I think that's Kyle being a good leader and taking it on himself. Kyle's been a better head coach and leader this year, but I think Jimmy pushed back, and I think the locker room pushed back. I think they felt, we don't need this. We don't need this. And maybe there's something to that. This team is really good. Just pick one quarterback and go all in, Kyle. And, he picked one. So we'll see if he picked the right one.
Yeah, and you would think that he's seeing some redemption in having made the playoffs, but with how close that was, I mean, just a couple of plays going the other way, this season would have definitely not been a success if the 49ers missed the playoffs.
One play in particular. I keep going back to this quickly. Rams have the ball up 17-0 at the very end of the first half. It's 3rd and 1 from their 42 or something. And it's like 3rd and like half a yard. It's real close to the 43. In that situation, what does Kyle Shanahan do? What does Jimmy and Kyle do?
QB sneak.
Every time. And it works every time. I don't know if you remember what the Rams did, but they went empty backfield.
Shotgun.
Empty backfield. They needed like 6 inches. And they got sacked for like a loss of 8. That set up the Niners field goal drive right before halftime. I mean, really, it should have been 17-0 at halftime.
Right.
Or 20-0. Maybe 24. But because of that one call right there, that gave the Niners life. And then the Niners did the rest, give them credit for sure. But that's how close it could have been. They were like a QB sneak call away from missing the playoffs. And if they win the Super Bowl, it'll be amazing to know, like, just to remember what kind of like good fortune was required along the way.
Yeah. It's amazing in the NFL just how tight the margins are. Absolutely crazy.
The Niners needed Sean McVay to lose his mind temporarily on 3rd and an inch. He did.
Yeah. Well, he lost his mind a little earlier in that quarter when he was out celebrating on the field as well. He seems to just not have great sense when he's playing Kyle Shanahan.
I'm not impressed with Sean McVay. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that. I cannot blame you.
I don't see a guy who's improved much since he got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Kyle has improved. Kyle got embarrassed twice in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, but now look at his run game. He's got a run game that he won't give up on if he's up big in the second half of the season. I think he's actually built to put away a Super Bowl. McVay, he peaked 3 years ago. His offense is the same as it was 3 years ago. His run game is terrible, and now their entire team is Matthew Stafford being good.